Hello to each and every one of you. It's wherever you may be, it's Foxy speaking, and my mother and I, we're here to talk about something rather serious but an important issue we need to address and want put to bed as soon as possible. Would you like to say?
Yeah, so I've been made aware of all the fuss that's been going on regarding the allegations of bullying against Trevor Coult, and it has been suggested that Foxy is one of the victims of his bullying. And this is something that we didn't want to make public. This is something that has been a private incident, but one of Foxy's friends inadvertently mentioned his name as a victim of bullying from Trevor Coult, which has massively blown up. We've had videos about Foxy from Trevor. There's been multiple messages, people calling Foxy a liar. And if I can tell you one thing about my son, he is not a liar, okay? If you don't believe anything else that we tell you today, he has never lied in his life, okay? I don't think he's even capable of lying. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that, as I said, this was inadvertently mentioned by one of Foxy's acquaintances. Now, this is something that we dealt with at home. We had no intention of trying to bring anyone down or trying to discredit anybody or trying to cancel anybody. That was not a consideration, okay? It's my job as a mother to protect my son. And so I did everything I could in order to make sure I protected him from a situation that I felt was unhealthy. And we dealt with it and we moved on. But now this is all blown up. And it's really unfair that people are being so judgmental and nasty against Foxy. And so we wanted to tell you what happened, and you can come to your own conclusions about what you think. Obviously, everything is subjective. But I know what we felt was right at the time, and so we wanted to share that with you.
This is only true, and everything is shared as the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we've got proof of evidence to show it. And would you like to say anything?
So I suppose, firstly, I should say that Trevor was someone that Foxy really admired and looked up to. He used to talk about him a lot to me. I have no idea who this guy is, right? I have never watched his channel. I literally don't know, but Foxy would tell me about lots of you guys. He would tell me about Trevor, he would tell me about Graham and Fiona, he would tell me about Grumpy Sapper and all of the people that he follows. So I'd hear a lot about these people. I was always curious, but I'm not really on YouTube, right? And so there were moments where Foxy was extremely excited and proud to be on Trevor's channel, and really happy that there were times when Trevor would come onto his channel too. So this is someone that Foxy really looked up to and admired and respected, okay? So just bear that in mind when we talk about the rest of the stuff. Okay.
And this is only true. This is only all the more true. And how this whole drama started, it was through someone called Lord Jim Dandy, who Trevor just took a disliking to, don't know why, probably because of someone who he used to follow before stepping away from the person. And what many of Trevor's followers used to follow this guy. So if Trevor has a problem with just one person, when several of his followers used to follow a certain YouTuber, he'd effectively, would have gotten rid of his whole following, if there's any way to put it. And yet, this disliking towards this guy, Lord Jim Dandy, was completely trivial, not nice, and also unneeded and unwarranted for, because my mods scoured for 3 days to find evidence of trolling and bullying from Lord Jim Dandy.
Okay, so let's back up a bit. Okay, so just so that this is really clear. Okay?
He's not a troll.
Well, okay. Anyway, the very first thing that happened that concerned me was when Trevor was on one of Foxy's lives.
Yeah.
And this is what he said.
That's very
Lord Jim
negligent.
doesn't for me wrong sometimes. Well, Lord, yeah, they probably can be, Lord, but he was asking me and he wasn't asking you. All right. Still don't like you, Lord Jim. That's why you're blocking my channel. I mean, sorry, Foxy, I'm just saying. But Lord Jim, you're saying my judgment's flawed? You were hanging around an absolutely average channel for fucking long enough. If anyone here's got flawed judgment, it's fucking you. Foxy, do me a favour. Can you delete that cunt, Lord Jim Danley? Because I mean, I can't stand him. He's in there writing rat. I don't like him. Honestly, just get rid of him. I mean,
Done it.
he's such an arsehole.
Done it.
He was on absolutely average channel for about a year. They're slagging everyone off, and they jumped on everyone else's channel. He's blocked them now.
So, how it all started, I invited Trevor on my newly launched podcast series, which I've been doing since I was initially going to start in January of 2025, but instead it was early February of 2025, which was a part of my Make Things Happen intention for this calendar year. And I had Trevor on because I thought he'd be worthy of being interviewed. But the moment Trevor caught Lord Jim Dandy in the chat, he explicitly demanded that I'd delete and get Lord Jim Dandy blocked, and did not say any reason why. He was just talking about him slagging people off when he does not slag people off.
Well, anyway, so as you can see from that clip, he demanded, he was on this live, that Foxy removes Lord Jim Dandy. Now, Foxy actually did, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now, which in itself upsets me that he would just allow someone to just tell him to do something like that with no evidence. But because Foxy had so much respect for Trevor, he just did it. But anyway, that's something that we can work on, right? But then, what was the next thing that happened?
I rightfully came under criticism from some of my friends privately for doing that.
Yeah, and I think that's rightfully so, because, just to remove someone
and you can't prove
just
he's a
because
troll.
someone's told you is just, that's just not cool. You need to have evidence as to why.
And
there might be
proof.
nothing wrong with this guy. And as it turns out, it doesn't seem like there is, but we are open to knowledge on him, if there's any reason why he should not follow Foxy. Let's just get this straight. It's not like Foxy is friends with this guy. He's just someone that follows Foxy and comments on his channel, right? It's just a subscriber, okay? So lots of people said, well, why did you just do that? Just because Trevor told you to. And so Foxy reinstated this guy on his channel.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah. Then Foxy, was it an email you got from Trevor?
It was within a month later, because I was going to do I did the St. Patrick's Day live stream, and I wondered, because Trevor had a court date, I was wondering after his court date if he'd like to come on, but the message came late.
Yeah, what was the next thing that happened?
I got an email within a month later. It came referenced online trolls.
Right, and what did he say in that one?
In that one, he said, you may be alarmed, but that we've reinstated a troll, Lord Jim Dandy.
Right, and did he ask you to take him off again?
He said it was, I didn't see a part where he said take him off, but I just saw, it looked like a blunt warning.
Okay. All right.
It initially I thought was a fairly blunt but civil email, but I didn't realise.
Okay, we're gonna show you a screenshot of this now.
Oh
right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And this is Foxy's reply to that email, which is a really reasonable reply. I'm sure you all agree.
And then I got another reply from Trevor saying that he was going to distance himself from all other YouTubers.
Well, no, I'm going to read it out.
Yes, go ahead. No, this will prove it.
So the first email that Foxy received was this. Okay, we'll put a screenshot up for a little while. You can pause on it so you can just see that this is true, but I'm just going to read it out. Hi Foxy, Monday was my court day, as you probably know by now, so I wasn't doing any live streams. I've attached a conversation which should alarm you that your moderators have now allowed Lord Jim Dandy back on your channel. This is extremely disappointing, as he used to harass our late friend Graham. It seems your moderators have very little respect. Okay, so that's the first message.
First wave of messages.
And this is what Foxy replied.
And here it goes. Okay. Dear Trevor, hello to you, Trevor. Thank you for your email, and I've just noticed what you have sent me. I am extremely upset learning that Lord Jim Dandy went as far as harassing our late friend Captain Graham the Baron Hesketh. I do remember there being problems, as you had so told me before, but I am saddened learning he would have the guts to have gone as far as harassing Graham before he died. I will definitely be talking to my moderators about this to get this fact of the matter sorted out. Thank you for alerting me over this very issue, Trevor. No trouble at all, Trevor, certainly no trouble at all. I do hope your court case worked out okay, and I'm greatly pleased for you regarding over your success, regarding over the reward you have offered out recently. Well done. Hoping you get much more of your hard-earned justice served alongside Sue, Molly, Fiona, and all who have fallen victim to such trolling atrocities. But thank you again for raising the issue with me regarding Lord Jim Dandy, which I will certainly be talking to them about. Many kind regards, Foxy. Okay.
Okay. So I think you'll agree that was a really polite response from Foxy in his unique style, and he basically took on board what Trevor had said about Lord Jim Dandy. The last thing that Foxy would allow is someone that had ever trolled or been nasty to Graham on his channel, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Foxy loved Graham.
Oh, completely.
So, but I have always taught my children, like, get the evidence, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's because I'm a scientist, but we want to see the evidence, not just going to do something because somebody tells you. So, this is the response from Trevor. Hi, Foxy, thanks for the response. You'll struggle to do anything with this issue as blank and blank, I'm not going to name them, and blank are friends. So he's insinuating that some of Foxy's friends are toxic and trying to manipulate things. I'm going to distance myself from lots of people on YouTube and keep myself to myself. I wish you the best of luck. Now stay away from blank and blank connected to him. Take care. Regards, Trevor. And that's also a polite, nice enough message. It is also putting doubt into Foxy's head that some of his close friends are not good people, but hey, that's just Trevor's opinion, that's fine, that's not bullying. And he, just said, I'm going to distance myself. Cool, knock yourself out, that's absolutely fine. Now this is Foxy's response.
Good evening, Trevor. Good idea. I, for one, never go on Twitter/X. Yes, it will be a struggle, but I've spoken to my mods, and all I can do is see what I can do on this very matter. But thank you for wishing me luck, and may I additionally wish you luck on getting your hard-earned justice served following your court case. Hoping you have a fantastic weekend ahead. Kind regards, Foxy and... Yes.
Again, nice interaction. Okay, so Foxy's saying he's going to see what he can do. He's going to get his mods to look into this Lord Jim Dandy.
Yes.
And now... and 2 mods spent 3 days trawling Foxy's page, Trevor's page, Graham's page, Fiona's page to see if there was any evidence at all that Lord Jim Dandy had been trolling or writing nasty messages or anything. They found nothing, okay? This seems to be a guy that Trevor just doesn't like, and he just doesn't want people having him on a channel. That's how it appears. If I'm wrong, please tell me. But they couldn't find any evidence, so that was that. But anyway, this is the response from Trevor, and this is the response that really upset me and really upset Foxy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, after the lovely, reasonable interaction that they had previously had. Okay, Foxy, what do you mean you'll see what you can do? I'll make it easy for you and block everyone, including you, from my channel. I do not support people who take the side of those who attacked Graham and the rest of us. Okay, that's his response to my son, who had been polite and reasonable to him. Now, that was really upsetting to Foxy. And now I really want to tell you the impact that had. Right? When you bear in mind that this man is someone that Foxy respected and admired and really looked up to, and he's got this man saying, what do you mean you'll see what you can do? That's not good enough. It's basically saying it's not good enough because you're not doing what I've told you to do. I'm going to block you and everybody else from my channel. I mean, it's really unpleasant and unnecessary and nasty. And also, Foxy was terribly upset at the thought that he's taking the side of someone that had attacked Graham. That was extremely upsetting for him. Now, I knew nothing about this when this was happening, right? Nothing. But all I knew was that my son was a shell of his former self. He was incredibly withdrawn. He was just moping around the house. I didn't know what was wrong with him. I was asking what's wrong and he wasn't telling me. So tell a bit about how you felt in that time.
Oh my goodness, the way I felt very guilty. I felt guilt and I felt embarrassed, and I also felt like I'd let someone down and I wasn't unknowing that I was innocent. I had no control over the matter. My mods were doing all that they could, and yet I get this response thrown at me, which is upsetting. And also, I feared for my reputation. I thought if I did any more lives, I almost got to the point where I wanted to quit or if not mothball live streaming for some time, because I feared the more I do live streams, the more it would hurt or destroy my reputation because of what Trevor did.
And this is just because Foxy said, okay, I'm going to get the mods to look into this guy instead of just removing this guy. And that's the kind of response that he got, and that's the effect it had on him. Now, I'm really worried, wondering what on earth is wrong with my son, and he still won't tell me. And then thankfully one of his friends reached out and said, look, we really need to speak with you, we've got some things that we need to tell you. And they told me, and they alerted me to this interaction that had happened. And then finally you opened up to me and we reassured him that he's done nothing wrong. Now, he's done absolutely nothing wrong to warrant that kind of response. And you perked up when you realised that, didn't you? You did feel a lot better. But one thing that I wanted was for my son to have nothing more to do with this Trevor, okay? If someone's going to speak to him like that and try and
Coerce,
I think would be the correct word, him into removing some guy from his channel who Trevor just doesn't like. I don't want him having anything to do with someone like that, right? I want Foxy to be around people that are wholesome, and they're going to encourage him and not just tell him what to do and tell him who to remove from his channel.
or who I can or cannot have.
Whether or not you think this is bullying is even a word that we have used. I just knew that I didn't want him around that behaviour. But I actually looked up the definition of bullying today, okay?
We're going to talk about this.
And now obviously this is something that's completely subjective and everyone can have their own opinion on whether they think this is bullying or not. But the Oxford definition of bullying is seek to harm, intimidate or coerce someone perceived as vulnerable. Now, I would say that there was attempted coercion going on here. Okay, he was trying to coerce Foxy into removing this guy from his channel, and he was actually pretty intimidating in that message too. Now, I'm not saying he's a bully, but what I'm saying is that is how he made Foxy feel, and I had to put my foot down and say, I want you to have nothing more to do with this guy. And to be honest, I had a lot of resistance from him. He did not want to block him. He didn't want to block him from email. He didn't want to remove him from YouTube, because he even after that, he still felt loyal. But I was like, I do not want you having anything to do with this man, okay? Now, that's my prerogative as his mother, and but I have subsequently found out, and now this is really upsetting, that we don't have the evidence yet, but when we have it, we'll gladly share it. But I have subsequently found out that there are multiple screenshots, this is from before any of this happened, of Trevor on Discord channels disparaging my son in the worst way, okay? Now, these are being sent through to me over the next few days. I have no intention of releasing these in order to cancel anyone. What I'm saying is, I think my instincts were right here, okay? That he doesn't have my son's best interests at heart. He isn't someone I want him associating with, okay? So That's the story, right? That's what happened. This is not something that we were ever going to make public, but unfortunately, because this person is doing videos mentioning my son and dragging this out and making it into a big drama and playing the victim himself, I felt that we needed to say something, because it's unpleasant for people to be saying that Foxy's a liar and that he's making all of this up, because it's not the case. This is something that we never wanted to talk about, but I feel like our hands have been forced. Now, I'm sure there's going to be backlash from this, and I really don't give a shit. I just want to put our story out to you guys. You can form your own opinions, and maybe it's one of those things that's neither black nor white, that you can just see both sides of the story, and that's fine too. You know, I have no vendetta. I just want our story out there
and put to bed.
Yeah, and let's just lay this to rest. Yeah,
yes.
This is when you think of the things that are going on in the world. My God, you know, like really, there's more important things to be worrying about.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so so there you have it. That's our story.
And yes, all we want is a drama-free community. What I represent, and my sole intention, as is mine and Mod's, well, namely me, because I'm the main representative of my content, is representing a friendly, wholesome, and also a word which is not often commonly used, but I think it should be used for one's content when representing YouTube, or anything on the social media influencing side of things, a consummate community as well, as a whole. So this is all true, and it's never something we wanted to do, but with my family, certainly my mother having my best interest at heart and knowing me best, we felt like our hands were forced, but not in a way to defame or cancel anybody. And also, just to say, I have another email I'd like to read out. It was completely separated. It comes under the reference title, Sincerest Apologies.
And this email actually nearly made me cry. Because this is in response to that aggressive, unpleasant, I'm going to block you, what do you mean you're going to look into this? And even at that point, my son was the polite, lovely gentleman that I brought him up to be. Now listen to this. This is what he wrote to Trevor.
I'll try not to cry reading this. Okay. Dear Trevor, my apologies to disturb you, but can I extend my sincerest apologies for any upset I had caused you when I said, I'll see what I can do. I can sincerely assure you that this was never meant to be said in a sinister way. I sincerely meant it in the most respectable way possible. What I meant by this, because I had raised the issue with my moderators, they are working hard on getting this matter sorted, and though there has not been a full-scale outcome as of yet, they are working hard on it. Once an outcome has been reached, I can assure you that you, Trevor, will be the first to know. I, too, am very much the same like yourself in not supporting those who have taken sides to somebody who has attacked yourself, our late friend Graham, Fiona, or your wonderful son, your ex-wife, Sue, Wally, everybody you are closely associated with. I, for one, don't condone such vicious wrongdoing and unneeded attacks. I'm just so sorry for all that you have gone through, as are all who have supported you. I really do wish I had all the answers for you with all that myself and my moderators are working on regarding this Lord Jim Dandy thing, but because no settlement and outcome has been reached at the moment, I cannot provide you any information until I have received it, which in itself is frustrating. But everything is being worked on. But if there is anything I can do to make everything up to you because of what I said, I will always be happy to provide whatever necessary to make it up to you. But I completely forgive you, Trevor, for recently being upset with me, because you have every right to be. But all I really meant to tell you is that I'm currently lacking information on this very situation at the moment, and can see just how upsetting it was for me to have said, I will see what I can do because of lacking certain information. It was wrong of me to have said this, and I apologize. But may I wish you a wonderful rest of your weekend ahead, And do be assured that once I've gotten all the information you need, I will tell you completely everything. Many kind regards, always, good man Trevor. Yours most faithfully, sincerely, Foxy and...
And his response to that was, Foxy, thank you for your email. You need to make a decision on your own. Your moderators are manipulative and have got private groups on Discord that discuss all of us and are very vindictive. You may need new moderators. Well, I know about these private groups on Discord too that are very vindictive, that I think he's been involved with, that are actually being vindictive about my son. So that email that Foxy wrote him absolutely breaks my heart, because he's apologising for doing the right thing, right? He's apologising for saying, I'm going to look into this, I'm going to see what I can do. When you have no need to apologise for saying that. You do realise that? Okay?
I only realised it within a few days after I'd sent it. That was when, with support of the mods and my friends, that got me back on my feet. I then came to the real realisation of it.
Yeah, you don't need to apologise for doing the right thing.
No.
Just because somebody has intimidated you. So that's that. That's our situation, you know, and listen, you know, take from it what you will, but that's why I asked Foxy to remove him from his channel. That's why I asked Foxy to block him on email, and that's why I asked Foxy to have nothing to do with him. And I don't know, what would you do if he was your son? But I feel like I was justified, and now I know I'm justified because I've seen all the other stuff that's been going on. So there you go.
May I thank you all for taking the time to listen, and before this video is ended, we are going to show all the screenshots and proof of everything that has happened. But again, as my mother said, we're completely making this neutrally clear and get this neutrally established. Form your own opinions. We're not saying who you can or cannot follow. We are not those people. Come to your own conclusions, make your own decisions on this. But from what we'd experienced it was hurtfully upsetting. But again, just come to your own conclusions. You can say, well, we may be lacking proof, or we may not tell the story well, that's fine, that's your opinion. We have no animus or vendettas against that. But all I can say, if anyone has fallen victim to anything like I have, or anybody, doesn't matter who, never be afraid to come forward and explain yourself and talk about it if a rumour has been leaked.
Yeah, and if you've ever felt intimidated by anyone, or feel like anyone's ever tried to coerce you into doing something that you don't want to do,
never be afraid to come forward and talk about it.
Just talk to your friends, talk to your family. No matter how trivial the thing that person may seem to be, what they're asking you to do may seem to be, it's not the point. The point here is someone in a position of, I suppose, a powerful position over my son, because he held him with a great deal of regard and respect. Oh, yes. Trying to manipulate the situation and trying to get him to do something for him for no real reason. It's not acceptable. Yeah, because where does that end, right? You know, you can, if you get into a situation like that, it's just not healthy. And so I'm cross that this has happened. I'm cross that videos have subsequently been made naming my son, saying, oh, he's not my cup of tea and all of that. Yeah, well, you know what? You're not my cup of tea either. But, you know, the only reason I'm mentioning you now is because of what you've done, right? And like this would never have been spoken about. Never.
Oh.
You know, and this has all been blown up and in a really unnecessary way. And I just really hope that everyone could just move on from this now, okay?
What we want, and we kindly ask, is if we can move on. And my mother couldn't have got this more right. But it doesn't matter, even though it was just a mistake, I know it was not done on purpose, this thing reveal getting leaked out. But we hope soon, fingers crossed, this can all be moved on and we can focus on renewing a good reputation, even though I'm I never look at it arrogantly. I look at it with pride and dignity, having a good reputation. If we could move on from all of this drama, I will certainly be most grateful on behalf of my own mother and all of my family and those who support my content the most.
And I would just like to thank all of Foxy's supporters who have been there through thick and thin with him and show him so much love and support, because you guys rock, you're great, and I'm super grateful that he has you in his life. He's really lucky. So thanks everybody, and let's just go on living our lives and worrying about the important stuff, eh?
Exactly. Thank you all for listening, and I do hope this was useful or came as useful to all of you, and that you now understand the true story behind it.
Okay, bye.
Thank you all for watching. Goodbye for now. And remember, let's keep it friendly and wholesome as we move forward.